Welcome to episode 81 of Teachers in Business. I am Sarah Torpy. I am your host. I am a business coach. I am a mom. I am a teacher. I am all the things. And for my people who are here regularly, I just want to tell you that my plan this year was not to take most of August off the podcast, but that's what my life happened. And I think that happens to all of us. So I'm glad to be back at it after, I think, either 2 or 3 weeks off. And we will be back at it through September. Later in the fall, there are some changes coming here to the podcast and to my Facebook group. Nothing really big, just a title change, probably, and some pretty graphics. But those things I will tell you more about as they show up. It's all very exciting and very secret at the moment. This week, we are going to talk about allowing yourself to stand out. I have been thinking about this quite a bit lately, as I have been working with lots of clients on visibility and on being seen and on all of the sort of internal mindset stuff that comes along with that. I actually have a post of my own that was started in my note section of my phone recently that I was thinking about the other day, and it leads with, I am 43 years old and I still worry about fitting in. So, like, if you think you're alone in the drama that you have around visibility and around standing out, I am here to tell you that that is not the case. That even people like, I am pretty visible, even I, in my visibility and my quest to grow my business and the rest, have these thoughts of like, gosh, what if people see me? So please know that this is normal, or at least normal for us introvert-ish kind of people. And there's something to be done here. Um, so here's the thing. I think we all come with the notion, we all know deeply that being able to stand out in the business world is a good thing. Like, this is a base level assumption, right? Like, people come to us, people can find us, people can access what we have to share if we're seen. If the world sees us and people can find us, we can share stuff. But as great as being visible is, the trick becomes that being visible, being standing out in the business world, also leads us to all kinds of thoughts. um, I can tell you from personal experience that I have all these thoughts too. They're about what other people are going to think of us if we say these things on our Facebook profile. Like, I recently have sort of expanded my circle into my son's like baseball land, and it's all the moms in that group, and they're now all in my Facebook, and I love them. They're all wonderful people. Also, I now have a whole new set of thoughts about what all the baseball people are going to think about me on Facebook, because I'm not like them. Like, I don't do the same kinds of jobs they do. They sort of tend corporate or in a school system, and I am not either of those things. I own my own business, and I talk about it publicly on Facebook and LinkedIn. And so I have like caught myself not sharing things because I worry what the baseball folks are going to think. And like, I'm sure they don't think anything bad about me, but it's a thing. The other thing that happens, I think, that, stops us from being visible, even though we know it's important, is doubt in ourselves and our ability to be valuable. And also just that general sort of imposter syndrome, like the, do I belong? Do I fit in? Is what I have valuable enough that people will get good from it? I was talking to someone this morning who said to me, I just don't know if I have anything new to share with them. And here's the thing, like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be new. We have to know that what we have is valuable in the way we have to share it, even though it's not a brandy new idea, and be willing to put ourselves out there. That's the trick. We also worry about, like the haters and the copycats. I think, I know as a business owner, earlier in my business, I worried about this more than I do now, actually, now that I'm more visible, because it feels like a really big, scary unknown. And, as someone who has had a couple of real serious haters and a copycat or two, now that I know that that's happened and I didn't die, I understand it better and I know what to do with it. But I also, like, we all worry that people won't like us, or that people will like say bad things about us on the internet, or that people will take our work. And I think that, starting to be visible and really allowing yourself to stand out means that those are risks we take, that we have to tolerate, that we have to manage, and we have to think about. So the trick to really being visible, to getting out in the world, isn't so much, in some ways, isn't the work of actually writing the posts, right? For me, I think the trick of visibility has very much been being willing to be visible and allowing myself to stand out, because no one was saying I couldn't except me. I am in my own way the most there. I think that's probably also true for you. So here's how you know if this is a problem. And I say this from personal experience for sure, even just lately, and also from like being in the business of all of my clients. There's quite a list of people I'm in, right now, 10 or 12 different businesses every given week. And when I look at them, when I see this like disallowing of visibility, of standing out, what I see is like writing posts and then not sharing them, having an idea and then judging it as not good enough rather than just like letting it fly. I see people question whether or not what they have to share is good enough. I have people where I see, I've done this myself, where you look and you're like, okay, I could do that, but let me see how somebody else does something similar. Like, is anybody else doing it like this? I also see people obsess over Facebook engagement numbers, likes and follows, and all of that stuff. Over like metrics on LinkedIn, on, seeing how the metrics grow and if they don't, and, how people respond to posts and all of that kind of stuff. I also see people restart a lot because it's like, okay, this was close, but it's not quite right. It's not quite ready to be shared. And so for me, for you, if those are the things going on, part of what might be happening for you is internal mindset around allowing yourself to stand out. Like, are you, and you can just ask yourself, am I allowed to stand out? Like, is it okay? Because, there are days where my answer might be no. Like, it's really not, it doesn't feel like it's okay, even though I know it is. Like, and that's real talk, well, deeply in my brain. I have had more of that lately, to be quite honest with you guys. And so I think when you ask yourself, like, is it safe for me to share this? Like, do I feel safe? Am I willing to put this out? Like, it's how you know if you're sort of standing in the way of your own visibility, especially if it's not like some very, very personal story. If it's just like a post about your business and you think like, am I allowed to share this? And you're not sure, the answer is yes. And that's the thing about it. Like, that at that point, you're in the way of your own visibility. I do it too, like, full admittance here. So what I'd like to offer are some of the things that I do instead, some of the things that I suggest to clients to do instead. These are very mindset kinds of things. So forgive me, some of them are real tactile. The first two are very in your head, and that's just the way we have to deal with mindset, right? So the first thing I do a lot, the thing I think about, is what I think of in my head is the value trade-off. Here's how it goes. Is me or you being invisible, less visible, less standing out less, is me not being able to be found actually helping the people that need me, right? Is being less myself helping anyone? Surely it's not helping me. Surely it's not helping the people who need me most. So I think it's a good checkpoint when you're like, okay, well, if I pull that punch, who does it help? Well, no one, honestly. It doesn't even really help your haters because it doesn't give them anything to do. So the value trade here, and this is sort of a rhetorical question in some ways, right? Because the answer is never, is being invisible helpful? Like the answer is never yes. But I do think it's a valid checkpoint in my brain sometimes to be like, wait. Is me pulling this punch here useful to anyone? Of course not. And if my goal as a coach, as a business owner, as a human is to be useful to people, then I have to stop pulling the punch, because what it's not doing is helping more. When I pull the punch, when I make myself smaller, when I don't offer the thought, when I don't share the thing, it doesn't help anybody. The only way it can help someone is if I say what I need to say. And I don't get to know in advance if it helps. I just have to trust that the idea that comes out of my brain is going to be useful to at least one person. And that's the second part of this. Can you decide to trust what comes out of your brain and just let it be useful? This is what I think about as letting it fly. And often I have this note on my computer that's just like, stop judging what comes out of your brain. Let it fly. So like what happens when we're standing in the way of our own ability of allowing ourselves to stand out is we take thought out of brain, we go to put it on paper, and somewhere in that distance between paper or internet and our brain, we judge it as not good enough. Can you allow the thought to go from your brain to the computer or the paper without the judgment? That's the trick. Often I find that I just have to shorten the time window. I have to like take it out of my brain, write it, and be done with it. Because if I let any time lapse from one to the other, it gives me too much time to be like, oh, is that going to be helpful? I don't know. It gives me time to like pick it apart, right? And sometimes what we don't need is time to pick it apart. That's why actually for me in the past 8 months, I've really stopped scheduling posts for the most part, because I found that I was questioning too much. So now I just make sure I post, but I let whatever's in my brain come out of my mouth, basically. And it's worked a lot better. I mean, I hate to admit it because it feels like planning should be better. And I always have like a relative plan. I know what I talk about, I know what I offer to people. But I think it's interesting to stop caveating it all so much, right? To stop over analyzing it, to stop giving yourself time to judge it, and just trust that what's coming out is useful. So that is the second part. Number 3, I think of this as the secret supporter to hater ratio. I think it is useful to consider the secret supporter to hater ratio. I really do firmly believe that for every one hater in your world, like one person that is truly like, you're useless, I hate you, and they are rare, there are 99 people who are like in your corner ready to fight the guy that you don't know about. They are your secret supporters. The interesting thing about it is, to get one hater, you have to have 99 secret supporters. But like to get either of them, you have to say enough for people to either support you or hate you. Like you can't have haters if you never say anything, but you also can't have secret supporters in your corner if you never say anything. You're going to get far more supporters, even people that just never say a word, than you are going to get haters. I have been in business for myself on some level since 2016. This is going on 6 or 7 years. The true haters, I can count on 2 hands, right? Have there been people who have told me what I do is stupid? For sure. Do I give a shit what they think? No. But like, were there people that came out and like, I have had people tell me I'm stealing teachers from the profession, that it's not okay for me to run the business that I run, that I'm doing it wrong, that what I'm going to do is never going to work. Like people I respect and love and all of these things, like those are what I think of as haters. I have people unsubscribe every week, but I also have people come in and join. So, to work on this assumption that more people are in your corner than not is a very different thing than looking for engagement in Facebook numbers. You're just going to assume people are with you. It is a very different way to look at what you're doing. Like, it's a lot easier to share a post and assume that people are going to love it. It's just a different way of thinking. Like, what we're taught to think is like, I will post this and then see if people like it by how many times they click the thumbs up. That's not how it has to work. For me, it's I'm going to put this out there, people are going to love it, and maybe some of them will even hit the thumbs up. Okay, that works. So it makes it a lot easier to be visible if you're not counting on the thumbs up to make it valid, right? The next thing is this. If you're really stuck and you feel like you're like questioning everything you do, decide to do a science experiment. Like, I am an experimenter. Sometimes what I believe, and I know this to be the case, it's like little kids testing boundaries. The only way to know if you swung the pendulum too far is to swing the pendulum too far, right? Like, we can't know if we've gone too far until we've tried to go too far. Like, you don't know if you broke a rule until you tried to break a rule. This is how it goes sometimes. But what I know about you and I know about me is it's pretty damn hard to go too far, right? Like, you're not going to get out on the internet and advocate for something absolutely bananas. You're not going to like kill kittens. You're not going to do anything insane. What you're going to do is like tell people you're really fun to work with, share a testimonial, and then be like, hey, you should work with me too. And no one is going to think you're a complete jerk. Like, you, that's not swinging the pendulum too far. The only person that's going to feel like that too is you. So do an experiment and swing the pendulum what's going to feel like too far. And then if you want, run away, close Facebook, leave for 5 hours. Don't talk to it again until tomorrow. Like, you don't have to then sit there and wait to see how it went. Like, have the idea, make the post, run. That's your experiment. Let yourself say the thing, run away, and then get up the next day and see that you have not died yet. See that people probably actually supported you and that you're still intact. And then do another similar experiment until you raise your tolerance to this particular kind of thing. Like, I have just become more tolerant of saying what I need to say on the fly because I've gotten used to it. I've been working on it for almost 9 months. And before that, I was working on it just not as diligently. Do I have blips in it? Right, I have right now with the new people in my world? Yes, of course. Am I going to get over it? Yes, because now I'm going to have to start to experiment again and like try to put things out in the world and not die from it. It's going to be fine. I'm not going to die from it. They're going to be lovely and supportive and kind and all the things because they're just magical people. But that doesn't mean it's not uncomfortable. Like, allowing yourself to stand out is uncomfortable, and that's okay. And then what I will tell you is, when you make the thing that you think is too far, you say the thing and then you run away, you're going to feel weird about it. It's okay. You're going to feel like a little, like, for lack of a better word, pukey. You're going to be like, oh, I feel so gross now. I can't believe I did that. Your job is to just like not die from it. You're not gonna. It's okay. And then the last thing I would say to use this, allowing yourself to stand out is the backbone of it, is remembering who the hell you actually are. Like, you are valuable. You are important. You are full of things, ideas, content, questions, expertise that the world needs. Remembering who you are and that people need you is a way to remember that you get to stand out. You don't have to, you get to. You are allowed to, because you're a big deal. What you do is a big deal. What you do is important. And because of that, it is okay for you to stand out. What you do, no one else does quite like you do. It's magic. And when you hide magic, it's wrong, right? So sit back and remember who you are for a hot minute, because what you are is important and people need it. And that's a big deal. So if what you want, you can try all of these things. If you're like, okay, cool, Sarah, like, I'm going to try all these things, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I need more accountability. I have the perfect thing for you. I have small group coaching. Because honestly, what you need is accountability, and there is nothing better than the version of small group coaching that I do, where you get individual coaching week to week, every week. Everyone gets what they need in the small group because they're capped at 4, but you get the accountability of 5 people, right? You get to hold yourself accountable, but you get to have the other people in the group with you. You get to have me with you, and more will get done. You will stand out. You will have people amplify your voice. Will have people remind you who you are on the regular. You will have people help you hatch your experiments. You will have people who help you remember that you are more helpful by being visible than not. And you will have people who will not even be secret supporters. They will just full on be your supporters through this group. And you will grow your business because we will be pushing you along very gently and kindly, shoving you into allowing yourself to stand out, because we as a group always know how much that matters. They are forming right now. If you are interested in joining group coaching, our first week is the week of October 10th. The seats are up for grabs now. There are 4 people in a group. I think I might run 2. We'll have to see. And if you have questions about it, come on into my Facebook group. It's called Teachers in Business. Or just send me a message. I'm sarah@torpycoaching.com. All of this will get linked in the transcript. And I will also put in the link for you to just sign up to have a call about small group coaching, because it's worth talking about, even if you're not sure. If you have questions, reach out. I am happy to have you in my group. If you are not there yet, please know that you are welcome. It's called Teachers in Business, but it's actually for all of us, right? We are all teachers on some level. You do belong. Don't question it. Just come join. And I will see you all here on the podcast again next week.